Jake Carter had always been the guy people leaned on. At 34, he was the kind of high school teacher who stayed late in his Austin, Texas classroom, helping kids wrestle with algebra or just listening when they needed a vent. He organized weekend cleanups at Zilker Park, hauling trash bags with a grin, and never missed a chance to cheer at the school soccer games. His life wasn't flashy, but it was steady, built on small, deliberate acts of care. His wife, Lisa, was different. At 32, she thrived in the fast-paced world of marketing, her charm lighting up client meetings and happy hours. To their friends, they were the perfect pair: Jake, the grounded one; Lisa, the spark. They shared a modest ranch-style home in South Austin, a rescue dog named Scout, and a rhythm of date nights at local taco joints. But lately, Jake felt a shift, like a song stuck on the wrong note. It started with small things. Lisa's late nights at work events stretched longer. Her phone buzzed at odd hours, and she'd angle the screen away, laughing off Jake's questions. "Just Amanda from the office," she'd say, her voice too bright. Jake wasn't the jealous type. He trusted her. But trust doesn't blind you. One evening, while tossing laundry into the washer, he found a crumpled hotel receipt in her purse. The Driscoll, downtown, $189 for one night. They hadn't stayed there together. The date matched a night she claimed to be at a team-building dinner. He stood there, staring at the paper, his stomach twisting. He didn't confront her. Not yet. Jake wasn't one for outbursts. Instead, he tucked the receipt back and waited, watching her lies stack like cards. The next week, Lisa announced another girls' night with Amanda. Jake nodded, kissed her cheek, and said, "Have fun." But as her car pulled out, he opened the tracking app they'd shared for safety years ago. Wasn't at Amanda's condo. It was at the Driscoll again. Jake's pulse quickened, but he didn't call. He drove to a hardware store, bought a new deadbolt, and spent the evening swapping out the front door lock. His hands shook as he turned the screwdriver, not from anger, but from the weight of what he was doing. Scout watched from the couch, head tilted, as if sensing the shift. When Jake finished, he slipped Lisa's old key off her ring and replaced it with a dud from a junk drawer. It looked close enough to fool her in the dark. Hours later, Lisa's car crunched into the driveway. Jake sat in the living room, lights off, the new key warm in his palm. Scout's ears perked at the sound of her heels on the porch. The key scraped, clicked, then rattled. A pause. Then again, click, rattle, jiggle. Lisa's frustrated huff cut through the quiet, sharp and almost comical. "What the hell?" she muttered, loud enough to carry. Jake stayed still, his phone glowing with the Ring camera feed. Lisa stood there, clutching a to-go box from some overpriced restaurant, her silhouette sharp against the porch light. She jiggled the key again, then banged on the door. "Jake, you in there?" He didn't answer. Let her feel it. The lockout, the betrayal flipped back on her. His phone buzzed with her call. He let it ring twice before picking up, silent. "Why is the door locked?" she snapped. "What's going on?" Jake's voice was low, steady. "I changed the lock, Lisa. This isn't your house anymore." A beat of silence, then her laugh, dry, condescending. "You're being ridiculous. It's my house, too. Open the door." Jake leaned back, eyes on the camera feed. "You said you were with Amanda." "Funny, Amanda's not at the Driscoll." The line went quiet. He could almost hear her recalculating. "You're spying on me now," she said, voice tight. "You're pathetic." Jake didn't bite. "I know about Ryan," he said, naming her co-worker, the one she'd mentioned too casually, too often. "I know where you've been." Lisa's tone shifted, softer now, coaxing. "Jake, let's talk. It's freezing out here. Don't do this." He hung up, heart pounding but resolute. Through the camera, he saw her pace, then dial another number, probably Ryan. She stood there, to-go box dangling, before storming to her car and peeling out. Jake didn't sleep that night. He lay on the couch, Scout curled at his feet, the new key still in his hand. He wasn't angry, not in the burning, shouting way. It was colder, clearer, like stepping out of fog. He'd spent years building a life with her, believing her half-truths, excusing her distance. No more. By morning, he had a plan, not revenge, but reclaiming. He checked the Ring footage. Lisa hadn't returned. But he knew her. She wouldn't let this go. She'd always played the long game, and Jake was done being her pawn. Jake woke to Scout's wet nose nudging his hand, the morning sun slicing through the blinds. His phone showed 3 missed calls from Lisa, all before 7 a.m., no voicemails. She wasn't one for apologies, and he wasn't expecting one. He brewed coffee, fed Scout, and checked the Ring camera footage again. Nothing since her frustrated exit last night. But Jake knew her too well. Lisa didn't retreat. She regrouped. He wasn't sure what her next move would be, but he wasn't waiting to find out. Today, he'd take control. At his school, Jake taught his morning classes with a calm he didn't feel. His students, oblivious to his personal storm, laughed through equations and griped about homework. During his lunch break, he called a locksmith to install a second deadbolt and a backdoor lock, scheduling it for that afternoon. Then he texted Amanda, Lisa's co-worker and supposed alibi. Jake had met her at a company picnic once. Chatty, kind, not the type to cover for betrayal. "Can we talk?" he wrote. "About Lisa." Amanda replied within minutes. "Meet me at the coffee shop on Lamar, 3 p.m. The coffee shop was busy, filled with the hum of laptops and espresso machines. Amanda sat at a corner table, stirring a latte, her expression wary but open. Jake slid into the seat across from her, cutting straight to it. "Was Lisa with you last night?" Amanda's eyes widened, then softened with guilt. "No, she hasn't been out with me in months. She's been using my name, hasn't she?" Jake nodded, his jaw tight. Amanda sighed. "I heard rumors. Her and Ryan from the creative team. I didn't want to believe it, but she's been dodging me, acting cagey. I'm so sorry, Jake." He waved it off, not wanting pity. "I need proof," he said. "Something concrete." Amanda hesitated, then pulled out her phone. "She sent me a screenshot once, bragging about a date. Thought it was a joke. It was from Ryan's number." She forwarded it to Jake, a flirty text, timestamped from a night Lisa claimed she was working late. Jake's chest tightened, but he kept his voice steady. "Thanks, Amanda. This helps." She reached across the table, squeezing his hand. "You don't deserve this. If you need me to talk to HR, I will." Jake shook his head. "Not yet, but I'll let you know." He left with the screenshot burning in his pocket, a piece of evidence to anchor his next steps. Back home, the locksmith was finishing up as Scout barked at a squirrel through the window. Jake tested the new locks, their weight reassuring. He sat at his laptop and opened their shared bank account, another thing Lisa hadn't bothered to hide. Small charges stood out: cocktails at a rooftop bar, a boutique hotel, a dinner for two at a place they'd never gone together. Each transaction was a jab, but Jake didn't linger. He screenshotted everything, then changed the account passwords and froze their joint credit card. If Lisa wanted to play games, she'd do it without his money. That evening, his phone lit up with a call from an unknown number. He answered, cautious. "Jake, it's Ryan." The voice was smooth, too confident. "We need to talk." Jake's grip tightened. "Say what you need to say." Ryan chuckled, like this was a casual chat. "Look, man, Lisa told me you're having issues. I'm not trying to get in the middle, but she's saying you're unstable, locking her out for no reason." Jake's blood boiled, but he kept his tone even. "She's cheating with you, Ryan. I've got proof. You want to talk about unstable? Start there." A pause, then Ryan's voice hardened. "She said you'd spin it like that. This is between you and her." Jake cut him off. "Not anymore. I changed the locks for a reason. Stay out of my life." He hung up, heart racing, but a strange clarity settling in. Lisa was already rewriting the story, painting him as the villain. The next morning, Jake woke to a notification from the Ring app. Motion detected at 2:41 a.m. He opened the footage, his pulse spiking. A grainy figure moved across his backyard, pausing at the back door before slipping into the shadows. No face, but the stride was unmistakable. Lisa. She'd found a way to test the new locks, maybe with an old spare sheet hidden. Jake's stomach churned. She wasn't just taunting him, she was escalating. He checked every door and window, locked, untouched, but the violation lingered. He called the locksmith again, upgrading to a smart lock system with a pin only he'd know. By noon, Lisa texted, "We need to talk. For real." Jake didn't respond. Instead, he drove to a law office downtown, a small firm recommended by a colleague. The attorney, Derek, was blunt but kind, his desk cluttered with legal pads. "You've got a case for divorce," he said, scanning the screenshots Jake provided. "Infidelity, documented. The footage helps too. But if she's sneaking around, you need a restraining order ready. Start building a paper trail." Jake nodded, signing the initial paperwork. It felt final, like cutting a rope he'd been clinging to for too long. That night, Lisa showed up again. The Ring camera caught her at the front door, tried her old key, then a new one, probably a copy she'd made. When it failed, she didn't knock. She just stood there, staring into the camera, her smile cold and deliberate, like she knew he was watching. Jake's phone buzzed with a voicemail. "You think new lock stopped me? I know you, Jake. You'll cave. You always do." He saved the message, forwarded it to Derek, and sat back, Scout at his side. Lisa was wrong. The man who caved was gone. Tomorrow, he'd meet Ryan face to face, not to fight, but to end this on his terms. Jake didn't sleep much. The voicemail's echo, Lisa's taunting "you'll cave," looping in his head. By morning, his resolve had hardened into something unyielding. He wasn't the pushover she thought. Today, he'd confront Ryan, not to beg or brawl, but to draw a line. He fed Scout, checked the smart locks, and reviewed the ring footage again. Lisa's late-night visit, her smug smile into the camera, fueled his focus. He texted Ryan, "Coffee shop on South Congress. 10 a.m. Be there." Ryan replied instantly, "Fine. Let's end this." The coffee shop buzzed with weekend crowds, the air thick with roasted beans and chatter. Jake arrived early, choosing a table by the window. He sipped black coffee, his phone open to Amanda's screenshot. Lisa's flirty text to Ryan, time-stamped and undeniable. When Ryan walked in, his stride was all swagger, like he'd already won. He slid into the seat across Jake, leaning back with a smirk. "So what's this about? You gonna lecture me?" Jake kept his voice low, steady. "I'm not here to lecture. I'm here to tell you I know. About you and Lisa. The hotel, the lies. I've got proof." He slid his phone across, showing the screenshot. Ryan's smirk faltered, but he shrugged. "She said you were boring, man. Said you checked out of the marriage. I was just there when she needed someone." Jake leaned forward, eyes locked on Ryan's. "She lied to you too. Told you I was unstable, right? That's her game, twisting the story. But you're not my problem. She is, and I'm done playing." Ryan shifted, uncomfortable. "Look, I'm not in this for drama. She came to me." Jake nodded. "Then walk away, or I'll make sure HR and her boss get this." He tapped the phone. Ryan's jaw tightened, but he didn't argue. "You're colder than she said," he muttered, standing. "This is over." Jake watched him leave, a weight lifting. Ryan wasn't the issue. Lisa's manipulation was. And she was far from done. Back home, Jake found a new voicemail waiting, left at 3 a.m. Lisa's voice, slurred and sharp. "You're talking to Ryan now? You think you can scare me? This isn't over, Jake." He saved it, sent it to Derek, his attorney, and checked the Ring app. No new footage, but the smart lock log showed an attempted entry at 3:15 a.m. Someone had tried a key that didn't work. Lisa was testing him, probing for weaknesses. Jake's pulse quickened, but he didn't panic. He emailed Derek, "She's escalating. Need a move on the restraining order." Derek replied within the hour, "File it Monday. Keep documenting. Don't engage." At school, Jake threw himself into his routine, grading papers and prepping for a parent-teacher night. But during a break, his phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You're making a mistake. She's not worth this." Jake stared, confused. "Ryan? Someone else?" He didn't respond, but the unease grew. That afternoon, his principal, Ms. Torres, called him into her office. "Jake, I got an anonymous email," she said, her tone careful. "It says you're going through personal issues. Might not be fit to lead the math department." Jake's stomach dropped. Lisa. She was hitting where it hurt. His job, his stability. He kept his cool. "It's my ex-wife. She's trying to sabotage me. I've got proof of her actions, and I'm handling it legally." Torres nodded, trusting him. "I've got you back, but watch yourself. Whoever this is, they're playing dirty." That night, Jake installed a second camera, this one covering the backyard. He wasn't just protecting the house. He was building a case. Around 9 p.m., his phone lit up with another call from Lisa. He let go to voicemail. "You're pathetic, Jake," she hissed. "Running to my friends, my mom, my job? You think you're smart, but I'm always a step ahead." The message cut off. Jake's hands shook as he saved it, but he didn't call back. Instead, he texted Amanda. "Did Lisa talk to you today?" Amanda replied, "Yeah, she's unhinged. Call me a traitor for talking to you. Be careful, Jake." The next morning, Jake woke to a notification. Motion detected at 4:07 a.m. The backyard camera showed Lisa, not sneaking, but standing boldly by the fence, staring at the house. She didn't try the door this time. She just stood there like a challenge. Jake's heart pounded, but he felt a strange calm. She was desperate, losing control. He forwarded the footage to Derek, who called immediately. "This is enough for the restraining order," Derek said. "She's trespassing, harassing. We'll file first thing tomorrow." Jake agreed, but the violation lingered. Lisa wasn't just breaking rules. She was invading his peace. By Sunday, Jake was ready for the next blow. It came at dusk. He was walking Scout when a car slowed beside him. Lisa's. She rolled down the window, her voice soft, almost pleading. "Jake, can we talk?" "No games, I swear." He kept walking, Scout tugging at the leash. "You've said enough. How about the voicemails, the footage? It's over." Her tone shifted, sharp again. "You think a lawyer scares me? I know you better than you know yourself." She drove off, leaving Jake standing in the fading light, Scout whining softly. He wasn't scared. Not anymore. But he knew this was the calm before her storm. Jake's Monday started with a purpose. He met Derek at the courthouse before his first class, filing the restraining order with a stack of evidence. Lisa's voicemails, the ring footage, Amanda's screenshot, and the bank records. Derek skimmed the documents, nodding. This is solid. She's got no ground to stand on. Jake felt a flicker of relief, but he wasn't naive. Lisa didn't fold easily. As he left for school, his phone stayed silent, an eerie calm that set him on edge. Scout sensed it too, pacing by the door when Jake grabbed his keys. At school, Jake kept his focus on his students, guiding them through quadratic equations. But during a break, Miss Torres pulled him aside again. "Another email came in," she said, her voice low. "Anonymous, but it's nastier. Claims you're harassing your ex. Maybe even dangerous." Jake's jaw clenched. Lisa was doubling down, twisting the narrative to paint him as the aggressor. "It's her," he said, pulling up the latest voicemail on his phone. Lisa's voice spilled out, venomous. "You think you can ruin my life, Jake? I'll make sure everyone knows who you really are." Torres listened, her expression darkening. "Forward this to your lawyer. We're not buying it, but she's trying to hurt you." Jake nodded, sending the file to Derek. He wasn't just fighting for his home now, he was fighting for his name. That afternoon, Jake got a call from Amanda. "Lisa showed up at my place last night," she said, her voice tight. "She was drunk, yelling about how you're turning everyone against her. I told her to leave, but she's spiraling, Jake. Watch your back." He thanked her, his mind racing. Lisa's moves were getting bolder, less calculated. He checked the Ring app. No new footage, but the smart lock log showed another attempted entry at 3 a.m. She was relentless, testing every boundary. Jake emailed Derek again, adding Amanda's account to the growing file. By evening, Jake's phone buzzed with a text from Ryan. "She's done with me. Said I was weak for talking to you. Good luck, man." Jake stared at the message. Ryan's exit was a win, but it meant Lisa's focus was now entirely on him. He didn't respond, instead double-checking the locks and cameras. Scout stayed close, his ears perked at every sound. Around 9 p.m., a new voicemail popped up. Lisa's voice was softer now, almost broken. "Jake, I messed up. Can we just talk? I don't want this to get uglier." He didn't buy it. Her apologies always came with a hook. He saved the message and forwarded it to Derek, who texted back. "Court date set for Wednesday. Stay sharp." Tuesday brought a new twist. Jake was leaving school when he spotted Lisa's car parked across the street. She didn't approach, just sat there, watching. He kept walking, his heart pounding, but his stride steady. Scout tugged at the leash, oblivious. When Jake got home, he found an envelope slipped under the doormat. No stamp, just his name in her handwriting. Inside was a single page. "You're breaking me, Jake. I never meant to hurt you. Let me fix this." He scanned it to Derek, who called immediately. "This is manipulation, not remorse," Derek said. "She's building a case to look like the victim. Don't respond." Jake agreed, but the note's weight lingered. She wasn't just fighting, she was rewriting their story. Wednesday morning, Jake sat in the courthouse, his hands steady as Derek presented the restraining order request. The judge, a no-nonsense woman with sharp eyes, reviewed the evidence. The footage of Lisa sneaking around, the voicemails, the bank charges, Amanda's statement. Lisa didn't show. Derek had warned she might dodge to delay things. The judge granted a temporary order, effective immediately. "Keep your distance, Mr. Carter," she said. "Let her violate it, not you." Jake nodded, the paper in his hand feeling like a shield, not a victory. That night, Jake's phone lit up with a blocked number. He let go to voicemail. Lisa's voice was a mix of rage and desperation. "A restraining order? You're pathetic, Jake. You think paper stops me? He saved it, sent it to Derek, and checked the cameras. Nothing yet, but he knew she'd test the order. Sure enough, at 2:17 a.m., the backyard camera caught her again, standing just beyond the fence, staring at the house. She didn't cross the property line. Technically legal, but a clear taunt. Jake's stomach twisted, but he didn't call the police. He'd wait for her to slip up. The next day, Jake got a call from his bank. Someone had tried to access his savings account online, triggering a security lock. He changed every password, his fingers flying over the keyboard. At school, a colleague mentioned hearing rumors about Jake's messy divorce. Lisa was spreading lies, poisoning his circle. He didn't defend himself. He just kept teaching, kept documenting. Amanda texted, "She's telling people you locked her out for no reason. I'm setting them straight, but she's loud." Jake thanked her, grateful for an ally. By Friday, the pressure was suffocating. Jake was prepping for a school fundraiser when Torres called him in again. "HR got a call," she said. "Someone claiming you're unstable, shouldn't be around kids." They wouldn't give a name, but it's her, isn't it? Jake nodded, showing her the latest voicemail. "You're ruining my life, Jake. I'll make you pay." Torres shook her head. "This is harassment. File a police report." Jake did, that afternoon, handing over every piece of evidence. The officer was blunt. "She violates the order, we'll act. Keep your cameras on." That night, Jake sat with Scout, the house quiet but heavy. Lisa was unraveling, but so was his patience. She tried his job, his bank, his reputation. He wasn't scared anymore, just tired. But he wasn't done. Tomorrow, he'd push back harder, not with anger, but with the truth. Lisa thought she could control the story, but Jake was writing the ending. Jake woke to Scout's low growl, the kind that meant trouble. It was 5:47 a.m., and the Ring app was already pinging, motion detected at the front door. He opened the footage, Lisa, standing on the porch, dropping a small package before retreating to her car. She'd crossed the property line, violating the restraining order. Jake's heart raced, but he stayed calm, downloading the clip and emailing it to Derek. He grabbed the package, a plain envelope with a typed note. "I'm sorry, Jake. I never wanted this." No signature, but he knew her game. He didn't open it further, bagging it for the police. This was evidence, not a peace offering. By 8 a.m., Jake was at the station, handing over the footage and note. The officer, a gruff man named Ruiz, nodded. "She broke the order. We'll pick her up today." Jake exhaled, the weight of weeks lifting slightly. He drove to school, where the fundraiser was in full swing, kids selling baked goods, parents milling around. He threw himself into helping, setting up tables and joking with students, but his phone stayed close. At noon, Derek called. They found her. She's at the station, claiming it was a misunderstanding. The judge isn't buying it. She's facing a fine and a stricter order. Jake didn't celebrate. He just wanted over. That afternoon, Amanda texted, "Lisa called me from a holding room. She's furious, saying you set her up. I told her she set herself up." Jake thanked her, grateful for her loyalty. But the relief was short-lived. At the fundraiser, a co-worker approached, hesitant. "Someone's spreading rumors online, Jake. Posts on a local forum, saying you're abusive, unstable." It's anonymous, but Jake's stomach dropped. Lisa was still swinging, even from a cell. He checked the forum on his phone. Vague posts, no name, but the details matched her lies. He screenshotted them and sent them to Derek. "She's desperate," Derek replied. "This hurts her case more than yours." By evening, Jake got word from Ruiz. Lisa had been released with a warning and a court date. The new restraining order barred her from contacting him or coming within 500 feet of his home or school. Jake felt a flicker of peace, but he knew she'd try something else. Sure enough, at 10 p.m., his phone buzzed with a blocked number. He let go to voicemail. Lisa's voice was low, almost calm. "You win, Jake. I'm done fighting. Just know I loved you in my way." He didn't believe her, saving the message for Derek. The next morning, he found a new post on the forum, retracting the earlier claims. "I was wrong. He's not what I said." No name, but Jake knew it was her, covering her tracks after the police warning. The following week, Jake focused on rebuilding. He donated Lisa's belongings, left in boxes after she'd ignored them, to a women's shelter in Austin. He kept only Scout and the house, now a sanctuary, not a battlefield. Derek called with an update. Lisa's court date was set, and the divorce was moving forward. With the evidence, voicemails, footage, Ryan's admission, Amanda's statement. She had no leverage. She's out of moves, Derek said. You did this right. Jake nodded, the phone to his ear, watching Scout chase a tennis ball in the yard. The divorce wasn't final, but it felt like freedom. At the next school fundraiser, Jake met Mia, a local baker who donated cupcakes. She was warm, quick to laugh, and loved dogs as much as he did. They talked over coffee at the event, swapping stories about Scout and her beagle, Max. You seem like you've been through something, she said, not prying. Jake smiled, honest but light. Yeah, but I'm coming out the other side. They exchanged numbers, no pressure, just a spark of something real. That night, Jake walked Scout under Austin's starry sky, the air crisp. He felt lighter, like he'd shed a weight he hadn't realized he was carrying. A final letter arrived days later, mailed from Lisa's new apartment. Typed, not handwritten. I messed up, Jake. You were my safe place, and I broke it. I don't expect forgiveness, but I'm trying to be better. He read it once, then shredded it. Her words didn't pull at him anymore. They were just ink, not truth. He didn't respond, didn't need to. Lisa had faced her consequences, a fine, a record, a fractured reputation. Jake hadn't sought revenge, he'd sought boundaries. And now he was free. Jake started sleeping better, the house quiet in a way that felt earned. He replaced the old coffee mug Lisa used with a new one. Dark green, heavy, chosen with Mia at a pottery shop. They'd laughed picking it out, her teasing him for overthinking the handle's grip. It wasn't love, not yet, but it was honest, and that was enough. He walked Scout daily, their routine a steady rhythm. At school, the rumors faded, his colleagues rallying around him. Torres even promoted him to lead the math department, a quiet nod to his resilience. Lisa didn't contact him again. Amanda mentioned she'd moved to Dallas, chasing a new job, a new start. Jake didn't care. He wasn't the man who'd begged for her honesty or waited for her to change. He was the man who'd locked the door, not out of spite, but self-respect. Peace wasn't loud. It was Scout's soft snores, Mia's laugh over coffee, the click of a new mug on the counter. Jake had rewritten his story, and this time he held the pen.